G'day guys. There have been a bunch of changes and improvements to TreeFrogUI since the last time we covered it. So today I thought we would take a look at what's new. We won't cover how to get everything set up again in this video, since we covered that in detail in the last one, but I will link it down in the description below. It's also worth mentioning TreeFrogUI currently only works on the SF3000, all R36SXs stamped with version 2.6 on their PCB, and some with version 2.7 stamped on their PCB. There's a slightly different 2.7 variant of the R36SX that just gives you a broken SD card error when trying to run this. There doesn't seem to be any harm in trying to get it working on your 2.7 variant though, since if you do get that broken SD card error, you can just do a fresh install of stock OS once more. Also, the developer has mentioned they are currently looking for one of the newer 2.7 variants, so they can add support for it in the future. With that said, let's jump straight into some testing. Starting off, there's a new animated background when changing systems on this main menu. So if we press down now, you can see there's a nice smooth transition between each system. This doesn't really affect performance at all, but it is just a nice touch. Also, if you go into settings, there's an option called hide empty folders. We do have it turned on, but if I turn it off and go back, you can see we do have every single system folder again, even the ones that are empty. For example, Amstrad should be empty, and it is. If we go back to settings, and turn it back on, now only the ones that actually have games in show up. That just makes everything a lot cleaner and easier to navigate. Finally, on this main menu, there's a new search feature. If we press X, it brings up a little search option, and for example, we could type in Mega for Mega Man, so M-E-G-A, and then if we go down to Go and press A, it does show everything with Mega in the name. So I've got a Mega Drive game, Game Gear, and a bunch of NES games. That will definitely come in handy if you do have a ton of games on here. You can also add the games to favorites from these search results. For example, I could add Rockman Z, press Y, and it should now be in favorites. If I go back, a new favorites entry appeared, and there's our Rockman Z. Again, just another nice new feature. You might notice there's a folder called NES Hacks on here. This folder isn't here by default, and instead I just created a new folder in the ROMs directory and called it NES Hacks. I did put a bunch of NES games inside, but I haven't changed any settings. So by default, TreeFrogUI should detect .NES as an NES game and use the default NES core. So for example, if I do AVGN versus Dr. Wily, it does load straight into it. We'll quit back out. If for some reason it isn't loading the correct core, or if you wanted to change the stock core, you can still press select and force it to use a specific core. I do like QuickNES, which is the default though, so we'll keep it on that. Once inside a game, pressing start and select still brings up the same pause menu, but there are a few changes here. First of all, they have cleaned up the main UI, so it does look a lot cleaner now. It does have the rounded edges, but if we go save state, here's all of our empty slots. There are 8 to choose from. If we save it in slot 1, it obviously saves, but if we bring up the pause menu once more and go to load state, it does show an in-game screenshot. So if we go load, here we are. I might go into an actual level and update the save state. So I'll go Bubble Man, and I'll bring up the pause menu again, go save state. We'll use slot 1 again, and if I bring up the menu once more and go down to load state, you can see it has updated the screenshot. That is just another really nice feature to have, especially if you are using multiple save slots. It just makes picking the right save slot a lot easier. So they were all of the main sort of UI changes, but there are also improvements to the new custom cores. All cores should be faster by default, but we will focus on the 4 cores with the biggest improvements. Starting off with Sega. Previously, this core did not work at all, but I'm happy to say it is now working. I have copied 4 games over. We've got a Game Gear game, a Mega Drive or Genesis game, a Sega Master System game, and finally a Sega CD game. We'll start with Game Gear. I've just got Mega Man here. It loads basically instantly, and everything works as you would expect, but I do want to see if it has the same quality of life improvements. So fast forward, that's faster, faster still, and then stock speed. And what about rewind? Rewind doesn't seem to work. That may have just been an oversight, but yeah, it doesn't seem to work in this core, or at least not for Game Gear games. We might quit out of this one, and we'll try a Sega Master System game next. It's basically the same thing as a Game Gear, but that loads instantly as well. We're in the game, seems to be fine. We'll test fast forward. Yep, fast forward works. What about rewind? Rewind still doesn't work. Maybe rewind isn't a feature in this core at the moment. We'll quit out of this one. Next up, a Mega Drive or Genesis game. I've just got Wily Wars here, and as you would expect, it loads pretty much instantly. We'll go into the actual game so we can test fast forward and rewind. Although I suspect since it is using the exact same core, it won't actually work, or rewind won't work. So we'll test fast forward. Yep, fast forward works fine. And what about rewind? Unfortunately, rewind doesn't work here either. There is also a pretty big bug in the Sega core in this version of TreeFrogUI. If we press start and select and go to create a save state, slot 1 is used, but you can see there's no preview image. That's a bit of a red flag already. We'll go to slot 2, and if I press A, it does lock up the system. Unfortunately, you do have to power cycle. It's not related to the game, but instead the Sega core in general. I will have to reset to get out. And finally, we've got our Sega CD game, Snatcher. This wasn't mentioned as a supported system, but I thought it would be worth trying anyway. So I'll load up the bin, and unfortunately, no, it doesn't actually work. It does just crash back to the main menu. The exact same thing does happen when trying to load the queue as well. Sega CD just isn't supported with this core. So another core that was massively improved with this TreeFrogUI update is Pico 8. Previously, it seemed to run at around 75 to 80% speed, and we were using the fake 8 core before, but the developer recommends using the Pico 8 folder instead, just to use the new core. And if we go back into a test game, for example Celeste, it loads almost instantly as you would expect, but once in game, it is absolutely full speed. Very, very cool stuff. Having said that, you might still encounter some slowdown in harder to run Pico 8 games, but all of the games that I've tried do run pretty much flawlessly now. No slowdown whatsoever. There's also 2 Pico 8 games included by default now. I believe both of these are made by the developer of TreeFrogUI, so we'll take a look at both. The first one's Carnival. It says Carnival of 3. It's got a nice little intro cutscene. We have to get 666 gold and 4 relics to open the carriage. Roll the dice. That is a pretty cool 3D wireframe animation. This is my first time playing this. I guess we'll go Gambler, all in. I guess we have to follow the cards. It should be the far right one. Hey, I won. I don't think I'll go double or nothing. Instead, I'll quit while I'm ahead. And the other included Pico 8 game is Master Crash. It has taken us to sort of a prompt, but it looks like it doesn't go any further. I'll try reset it. Resetting didn't work. We'll go back into it again. And unfortunately, I can't get this one to load. I might try changing the core to Fake 8. So if we go back down to Pico 8, select, there's a ton of cores to choose from. There we go, I'll select Fake 8, and we'll try it again. Unfortunately, it just takes us to this prompt. I'm not too sure what else to try here. There's also a new multi-core Game Boy Advanced emulator, and it's the one used by default by the GBA folder. If we open it up, I do only have 2 games here, DKC 2 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Tony Hawk's is the hardest to run game that I know of, so we'll try that one. Although previously it did run pretty much perfectly. I might bring up the main menu, go down to Options, Audio and Video, and enable FPS counter, and we'll go back. We might fast forward. You can see the frames a second, 121, 116, so it's fast forwarding very fast. I might also stretch the screen just to make it a little bit easier to see. So change screen size to full, and we'll enable fast forward once more. And yeah, with fast forward enabled, we are hitting almost 100 frames a second, although it did crash. We might try once more without fast forward enabled. So we'll go back into the game. We're still hitting an almost stable 60, so 57.5 average. That's not bad. That's pretty much perfect. What if I enable fast forward now? Yeah, it does actually work. What about the fastest fast forward, so the second speed? That works too, and we are hitting 100 frames a second. Very cool stuff. As mentioned, I personally haven't seen any Game Boy Advance games that struggle on this, although I do suspect some of the heavier Pokemon ROM hacks might load this down. If you do have any Game Boy Advance performance issues, definitely check out the new multi-core GBA core. Finally, PlayStation 1 has not only been fully fixed, so now in-game saves actually work using the emulated memory card, but there's also 2 speed hacks that you can enable for harder to run games. I've only got Metal Gear Solid 1 here again to test, and we'll start with Disc 2. I've noticed bigger PlayStation 1 games usually take around 5 or 6 seconds to load, so not quite instant with PlayStation 1. If we bring up the options menu, this time it's not start and select, but instead select an L1. You can see I do already have both speed hacks enabled, Pixel Skip and Interlace. From what I've played, Metal Gear Solid 1 runs fine with these disabled, but again, if your game's a little bit laggy, try enabling one or both of these. We'll go to resume, and we'll see if we can load my memory card save. So I'll go down to load game. It looks like the speed hacks don't actually update until you quit out of the core and then reload it. That's why you can see these scan lines. So we might quit out, start and select, and we'll load back into Disc 2, just using the recent games menu. We're back in now, and as you can see, there's no scan lines. So again, we'll try and load our save game from the emulated memory card. Go load game. Memory card 1, and there's no save files, but it didn't throw a memory card error. So that's a good sign. We'll go back and we'll go VR training. I'll go memory card 1. It did load. Go training mode. And yep, I have already completed the first stage and it did save. So the emulated memory card now seems to fully work. We'll cancel out and instead we'll go new game. We'll go normal. We are using disk 2, so it should say insert disk 1. Perfect. We'll bring up the emulator menu. So select an L1, go down to PCSX settings, swap CD, and I want to load Metal Gear Solid disk 1.bin. I can just press B to go back to the game. It now says press start after swapping the disk. It's checking it. It looks like it's loading. And yeah, here's the opening cutscene. PlayStation 1 seems to be pretty much perfect on this now. Really cool stuff. Overall, TreeFrogUI is even better thanks to these last few updates, that not only increased general emulation performance for just about every core, but also fixed a lot of the smaller bugs that some people were experiencing, like the broken Sega core and the PlayStation 1 memory card issue. The updated uniform menus and home screen animations are also a really nice touch that make this feel way more polished. If you haven't tried this out yet on your R36SX or SF3000, I would highly recommend giving it a go, even if it's just for the quality of life features like fast forward and rewind. But I think that'll do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.